That's on deck with Evil Dead Chick. What's in store when you open the door? Step inside, my little ones. Bring your flashlight and good luck charms. Oh, and good luck charms. Oh. Might get dark. It might get scary. Maybe even a little insane. Crawl out from under the bed. Don't be afraid. Evil Dead Chick is here to entertain and thrill. Dead's on deck with Evil Dead Chick. Let's hang out till the sun comes up.
Spin the wheel, throw down the gauntlet. Evil Dead Chick accepts the challenge. Thrills and chills, action and explosions, laughter and hijinks, all are welcome here. Step right up, don't be shy, it's okay to make me cry. Fun and games, torture and pain, which will it be? Spin the wheel and play Movie Roulette. Spin the wheel and play Movie Roulette. Spin the wheel and play Movie Roulette. Thrills and chills, action and explosions, laughter and hijinks, all are welcome here. Spin the wheel, don't be shy, it's okay to make me cry. Fun and games, torture and pain, which will it be? Spin the wheel and play Movie Roulette.
Hey gang, and welcome to a long time in the making or a long time coming, however you want to look at it. A new edition of Movie Roulette. I hope you're able to watch Mentallect because these are both movies that you chose and gave a very generous super chat both times. Gang, the dogs went outside and now they're scratching to come in, so I have to go away before I even get started. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry, gang. I am back. But like I was saying, Millake gave a very generous super chat for both films that he picked. And so I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. Now, I have been sick today. I did miss work today, so I'm not feeling my best, but I did want to fulfill my obligation to Mentellect or, anybody else that wants to give a $5 or more super chat and pick a movie for me to watch and do a review on. I must say I enjoyed both of these films, but we're gonna get more into that as we get into this. Sorry, gang. I have to apply these nose pieces to my glasses to keep them up on my nose. Otherwise, I will be like nerds everywhere, be pushing up my glasses constantly. So, but these are some that I've gotten at Amazon. So the sticky stuff wears out and they start, shifting around and getting on the front of my glasses and everything else. So I need to replace this one. Um, and you can probably see it there just a little bit. But anyway, hopefully I can fix that here in a little bit. But you can play movie roulette during another movie roulette. So if you want to give a $5 or more super chat during this movie roulette, you can pick any movie of your choosing for me to do a watch along on. It does not have to be a horror movie. It can be a suspense, a sci-fi, a drama, a comedy, whatever. And my hair is also crazy today. I do apologize. But I do want to remind people that hopefully I will have a whole slew of things for this coming week. More Dick's Picks, more cannon fodder, more They're All Messed Up. Perhaps maybe another watch along. Friday Foolish for July 4th. Hopefully me and Candace can finish the last 10 rounds of our game. Pretty much a versus game to see which is, in essence, the scariest movie. The Exorcist is off the table for this group of rounds, so it's going to be a little bit harder than it was because The Exorcist won overall for the last game that we played. No watch-alongs this weekend, but I am planning on, if all goes well, having an Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest, and I'll be showing Slumber Party. Gosh, folks, Sleepaway Camp 2 and Sleepaway Camp 3. Now, there may be some of you out there that say, "Well, Daniel, July 4th, why ain't you doing Return of the Living Dead?" Well, I could have done that. But number one, before I realized the first Friday of the month was July 4th, I had already picked the movies. Okay. And so for those of you that are disappointed, I do apologize. But it's not going to do any good to ask me to change the movies because the movies are what they are. And if y'all want to watch the Return of the Living Dead on July 4th, I'll probably do it anyway at some point in time. But we're not going to have it for Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest. I'm sorry. And to be totally honest with you folks, and for anybody that has asked me this, and I just thought of this, it's Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest. To me, Return of the Living Dead is not a slasher movie. It's a zombie movie, okay? So what I've been trying to focus on with Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest is slasher films. So if you want to join me for Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, if you don't have anything else pressing to do on July 4th, other than setting off fireworks or having backyard barbecues or whatever, then you're welcome to join me. But I'm glad I thought of that. I was like, wait a minute. For those people that have asked me or told me that I should do Return of the Living Dead, not a slasher film, folks. And this is Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest. Okay. So we want to do slasher movies. Okay. All right. Just wanted to get that out of the way. And also, I wanted to bring up some upcoming changes that are probably going to be taking place after the next watch along weekend. Okay. It has become clear to me for probably a variety of reasons. But it has become apparent to me that people will vote on these things, but apparently they're not that interested in coming by for a Sunday watch along. So my thoughts are to just have, when I have them, it can still be a watch along weekend, but I won't have two movies. I'll just have one for Saturday night. And if y'all have any, comments, suggestions, anything like that, that you want to throw my way, I'd love to hear them. But as it stands now, after this next watch along, um, they're no longer going to be on Saturdays and Sundays. They're just going to be on Saturdays. Because what I told Steve was, I said, I think either people are getting ready for the work week and they don't want to stay up late and watch a movie. I know it could just be the movies that are being chosen because, other channels that are more popular than mine, which I'm not angry about that. There's always going to be somebody that's more popular than you are, right? That just happens. Um, People will go to the more popular ones, and I see that's where their loyalties lie. I get that, but the truth of the matter is, they're not coming to these watch-alongs on Sunday for whatever reason. If it's they're too tired and they want to get some extra rest, they don't want to be sitting in on a movie, um, or they got other people they like to watch on a Sunday. Any of those things is fine by me, but I just don't, and it's not meant to come off sounding mean or anything. I just don't want to waste my time planning a watch along that very few people, and I only have one person in the chat talking, and that was the poet, consistently. And I appreciated the poet being there. But it seems a little bit like a waste of my time to have these Sunday watch alongs time after time after time, and people just aren't in there. And I see people popping in and out, but they don't stay around, you know, as opposed to the Saturday watch alongs, which still seem to be in favor with people. So just wanted to throw all of that out there. And also remember to hop on over to deadeyesondeck.com and take a look at what I've got at the horror shop. Tell them Poe sent you. Poe, of course, is the official mascot of the Deadites on Deck horror shop. I have t-shirts, I have hats, I have mouse pads, I have tote bags, I have blended teas, candles, and Booga Booga Bears, and soon the Pyro plushies, including the all-new Poe plushie, will be making their way to the site. Now, if you're not a horror fan, or you are a horror fan, but you don't see a design that you like on my shop, or in my shop, never fear. There is a handy dandy form on the homepage of the shop where you can tell me what it is you so desire, and I will try to make it a reality for you as long as it's legal. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started with talking about these movies, neither of which I own, sadly. And so I don't have a physical copy to show to you guys and gals. So I've got some little images here, a couple of images for the movies. And this is for What We Do in the Shadows. This was the first one that Mentallect picked. It is a vampire movie. It is a horror comedy. I didn't realize that. But that's what I get for not looking deeply into movies sometimes, especially new movies, because you guys know how I am. A lot of the newer movies are the movies in the last few years, and this one came out in 2014. So it's about 11 years old, folks. For whatever reason, I did not, I heard the title, but didn't really look into what it was about, right? Apparently, I must have not even looked at poster art or anything like that to realize that, oh, they're kind of, they're trying to have fun with this. So, like I said, it is a vampire movie. primarily. There's some werewolves in this one too. And it concerns mainly the three guys in the back and the one guy that looks like Nosferatu. Well, not the three guys in back, but two guys in back, the one guy in front, who's leaning against the guy that looks like Nosferatu. It's mainly about those four guys because they are housemates or flatmates, as they say. And their other friend is sitting on the other side of the Nosferatu looking guy who's named Peter. And then his friend, who's not a vampire, is in back there by the other two vampires. And you can probably tell which guy is not the vampire. Okay. And these guys have allowed a film crew to come in and film them in their day-to-day activities. Okay. And they have given them all, I thought this was kind of funny. They've given the film crew all crucifixes to wear, and they promise not to harm them. Okay. So the guy in the middle, in the back there, he is the guy that's kind of heading up everything. He's the guy that introduces the film crew and everybody that will be watching this to the other guys, the other vampires. And I just found myself laughing at the kind of audacious humor as he introduced his flatmates, right? And they go out at night, of course, because they can't be out in the sunlight. So they go to nightclubs and stuff like that and pick up women primarily and bring them back to the house where they suck their blood. And they're talking to Deacon, the guy that's sitting on the floor next to Peter there. And they're talking to him about, you never wash the dishes. And we see a scene of all these dishes piled up everywhere. It's like, why don't you just wash the dishes? And so he agrees to wash the dishes. And then they tell him, well, you got blood all over this designer couch or this fancy couch. And he's like, why are you fussing at me about this? Basically, why are you griping and bitching about this? And it said, well, you could at least put some newspaper down or something. And when they meet up with the guys who are werewolves, it's like werewolves against vampires or vampires against werewolves. And it sort of reminds me of the Sandlot scene where the main boys are going up against this other group of boys who are really, smart asses basically, and they're not nice at all. And so they trade insults back and forth, and then they say the ultimate insult, you play ball like a girl. Well, that's not in this. But it's just fun watching the two groups, the vampires and the werewolves, throwing insults back and forth to each other and threatening to fight each other and all that. So I really, really enjoyed this. And I'm like, dang it. That's why I'm thankful that Mentallect and others who participate in Movie Roulette give me movies to watch that I've never seen for whatever reason, whether I was stubborn or didn't think I would like it or whatever, because this kind of, forces me to watch movies that I probably wouldn't have watched otherwise. And I thoroughly enjoyed What We Do in the Shadows. I thought it was a great balance between horror, you had your blood spurting and stuff like that. And then on the other hand, you have so many comedy elements. You even have a little bit of sadness in the film, but not much. I think too much of it would have damaged the film. But I think the makers of this film really balanced everything out perfectly. So yeah, I could definitely see myself going back and rewatching this one. because I had a hell of a good time watching it. And again, I want to thank Mentallect for suggesting this one and for giving two very generous super chats. Okay, so if I'm going to give this one a rating, I'm going to give this one 5 deadites out of 5. I just had so much fun with it. And I'm like, boy, Dana, some of these movies just really, really fly under your radar or you're stubborn or something. But anyway, I really, really liked What We Do in the Shadows. I could highly, highly, highly recommend it. And where can you watch What We Do in the Shadows? Well, I found it on my husband's hard drive. you know, so I would suggest trying to find a full free version of it to watch instead of plunking down your hard-earned money to buy it just yet until you determine whether it's something that you're going to want to watch more than once, more than twice, or whatever. But anyway, that is What We Do in the Shadows. And the next one, holy cannoli, folks. This was a wild ride. And I hope this is the one that Mentallect meant when he mentioned it to me. Because I'm pretty sure. Oh, what I do with this now. Ah, here it is. Because I think he said 2013, and then he told me it was 2023. So there are several different movies with missing as the title. But this is the one I found for 2023. Okay. It's only PG-13, but don't let that deter you from watching this film. Because this was, somebody described it as a wild roller coaster ride. And I would definitely have to agree with that. So we have the main girl, June, or as her mom likes to call her, Junebug, and her very protective mother, Grace, who, calls her on the iPhone. Her daughter jokes that she uses Siri for everything. Doesn't really understand about FaceTime. And so there's a lot of interaction back and forth between mother and daughter. And when the movie opens, we see video footage of June when she was a very young girl, and her mother and her father. And during this video sequence, which is supposed to be apparently the last family vacation, her father's nose starts bleeding. And little June says, "What's that?" And he says, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just something to do with the altitude." And you can hear Grace off camera saying, "James, are you okay?" And he's like, yeah. It's just the altitude here." And then we see, somebody is clicking around on a computer, and it says James Medical, and it talks about brain cancer. So we are to gather from that June's father, whom she appears to love and miss very much, died many years ago. I'm guessing about 10 years ago from brain cancer. Her mother has a new boyfriend, Kevin Lynn is his name, and he's going to take her to Colombia on a vacation. And her mother tells her, "Can you pick us up at the airport when we come back?" I guess maybe it was a week. And June is upset because her mother is going to be gone on Father's Day. And so we see June looking at all these pictures, Instagram posts, and stuff like that of kids with their dad. And we finally see her posting her and her dad together when she was little. And she says, "Wish you were here." Okay. So, very poignant opening to the film. So, when June goes to the airport, she has this big party and she gets drunk and she gets sick. And she wakes up the next morning and then she remembers, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to go pick up mom and Kevin at the airport. I'm supposed to go and pick them up at LAX. So she gets there and she waits and she waits and she waits and they never show. So that kickstarts the fact that something is wrong, that her mother is missing. And I don't want to give too much away because this is like every time that's the beauty of this film. Every time I thought I knew what was going on, it would take another twist. And this was about an hour and 47 minutes long. And you can watch it on Sling. That's where I ended up watching it for free, was on Sling. Because, technically you can watch it for free on Sling if you already have Sling. But that was the only place I could find it to watch it for free. But if you don't have Sling and you don't want to spend the full amount for it, if you just want to rent it for like $3, you can do that from places like YouTube. Okay. But oh my gosh, I could definitely see myself going back and watching this one again because it was PG-13, folks. But again, please don't let that deter you from missing out on missing, because you would be missing a really great thriller. And it's not gory or anything like that, but the suspense is so thick at times in the film. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and so many twists and turns along the way that you don't know if you're coming or going with this film. And it has a lot to do with more modern technology, iPhones or other types of smartphones, smartwatches, computers, and the internet. It's just a really, really well-made film. Really well made. And so I know I can't give much of the inner minglings of the film away, because if I do, it's going to spoil things for you, right? So I can highly recommend it, and I'm gonna give it a rating here, and I'm also gonna give this one 5 dead eggs out of 5. Excellent film, excellent film. I was afraid, since it was such a new film, in the last couple of years, that it was going to be, I was scared. This is no offense to Mentallect, but I was scared it was going to be garbage. But I should have trusted Mentallect, because Mentallect has not really steered me wrong as far as movies. And again, I want to thank him for suggesting these two movies, and for the very generous super chats that he gave in order for me to watch and review these. So there you go, folks. 2 movies that I gave 5 dead eyes out of 5 to. Highly recommend them. And again, try to find a for free version of each one before you think about spending any money on them, right? Because I'm not the be all end all of everything. I just this lowly channel owner on YouTube that tries to put out fairly good content. So I guess that's all from me. I'm going to try to get some more rest because I'm going to have to go back to work tomorrow. I can't. I'm out of PTO days, and my work unfortunately doesn't give me, separate sick days and separate vacation days and all that. And I'm still not used to that. The jobs I'd worked at, like when I was working for the library system here in Louisville, I would get vacation days, I'd get sick days, I'd get personal days, and I'm just not used to yet having everything all in one bucket. But thank you for those of y'all that watched this edition of Movie Roulette. Mentallect, you usually comment if you're in here, so hopefully you get to watch this on the replay. And again, I really really enjoyed both of the films. And y'all keep in mind you can play Movie Roulette during any live streams I do. Even if I'm doing another live Movie Roulette, you can do it there. But I want to thank those of you. Nobody was in the chat to speak of, but I did see people popping in and out. So I want to thank those people that stopped in here to see what old Dana was doing. And also, I want to thank everybody in advance who will watch us on the replay. And get out there and watch these two movies if you haven't already. If you can get them and watch them for free, highly, highly recommend them. And I guess that's all from me for tonight or for this evening. But as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I do get off of here for the evening, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.